here are some steps to help you out with solving by greatest common factor. First, you want to group the first two and the last two terms together from your polynomial. Next, you'll take out the greatest common factor for each group, followed by making two parentheses where you'll repeat the answer that was left over from the GPS, followed by from the GCF, followed by the GCF itself. Let's take a look at some examples. Beginning with b cubed minus 3b squared plus 4b minus 12. Factor by grouping is a method that you'll be able to identify to use when you see four terms for your polynomial. So I'm going to begin by grouping the first two and the last two terms together. First, I'm going to look at b cubed minus 3b squared. My greatest common factor here is b to the second power. And if I divide what's in my parentheses by my GCF, b cubed divided by b squared leaves me with a b. Negative 3b squared divided by b squared leaves me with a minus 3. Next, I'll move on to my second group. The GCF of 4b minus 12 is a positive 4. 4b divided by 4 leaves me with a b. Negative 12 divided by 4 leaves me with a negative 3. You should now notice that what is in parentheses is exactly the same. This is the GCF for the next part of my problem. After I write down my GCF of b minus 3, the leftovers after I take out my GCF are b squared and a plus 4. So first I had my part from parentheses, the b minus 3, followed by what was in front of my parentheses, b squared plus 4, which made up the second part of my answer. Let's try another example. Problem number 2. We will begin by grouping our first two and our last two terms together in our problem. Looking at my first set of parentheses, the GCF of a squared minus 2a is a. A squared divided by a leaves me with an a. Negative 2a divided by a leaves me with a negative 2. For my second set of parentheses, 3a minus 6, the greatest common factor is a positive 3. 3a divided by 3 is a. Negative 6 divided by 3 is a negative 2. You should now be noticing the GCF for the next part of our problem is a minus 2. This is exactly the same in both parentheses, which is what we want to happen. So I'll begin by writing my final answer first with what is in parentheses, which is my GCF of a minus 2, followed by the leftovers from in front of my parentheses, which will make up the second part of my answer of a plus 3. So my final answer for problem number 2 is a minus 2 times a plus 3. Let's try another one. Number 3. We have 3ax minus 15a plus x minus 5. Begin by grouping your first two and your last two terms together. For my first group, the greatest common factor of 3ax minus 15a is 3a. If I divide what's in my parentheses by my greatest common factor, I'll be left with an x minus 5. For my second group, x minus 5, my GCF here is a positive 1. And what's inside of my group x minus 5 doesn't change. For my final answer, I'll begin by writing down the part that's in parentheses, that's the same, x minus 5, and I'll finish my answer with my second set of parentheses, which will contain 3a plus 1, which are the leftovers from my GCF. So my final answer is x minus 5 times 3a plus 1. Example number 4, you can now pause the video and try this problem by yourself.